Okay, we're back. We're back from the bye week. Vikings Cardinals this Sunday. Um, you know, we're coming into this. That we're not it's not officially the second half of the season, but it kind of is. I don't think any sane Vikings fan could have possibly asked for to be in a better position at this point than we are. We're 5-1. Green Bay's 3-4. They seem to be falling apart. Aaron Rodgers falling apart. you know, issues with their coaching staff. Hell, they're tied with the Bears now. And we're coming out of the bye. We've got home game against the losing team, and then we go to Washington before we have a very very tough, uh, very tough stretch here to finish out November. Um, so this this we're going into this kind of an unknown. Like, how does this coaching staff handle bye weeks? Um, you know, we've seen it both ways here over the years. Teams coming out of bye weeks, sometimes they excel, sometimes they fall apart. Um, Certainly, quotes from coaches and players, they're all saying the right things. You see so many Vikings fans out on online and stuff. It's like they're mad. They're mad about the record. They're like, man, we got to improve this though. We got to improve this. Like, the players and coaches know this. They're not oblivious to the fact that there are flaws on this team. And flaws that have been taken advantage of in games, to this point, and probably will still be. Um, they know this. It's just a question of, do they do the right things to adapt and get better? Like, I think I've been saying since week one that I think this is going to be a better team later in the season than they were at the beginning. And at the beginning of the season, they're 5-1 and in first place by basically 3 games. So I really feel like if this team does take that step post bye week now and improve, and the schedule's tougher. The schedule, you know, most of these games, the rest of the season, after we kind of get by this like on paper, these next 2 weeks are the last like real easy spot that we've got. Almost all these other games are looking a little tougher. We got to play the Giants later. That's looking a little tougher. Jets, that's looking a little tougher. Dallas is looking pretty tough. Um, Monday night game notwithstanding, I still think that playing New England on a short week is going to be very tough. Um, but if they improve their play, they're not going to go 16-1. They're gonna still lose some games. Hopefully, just not a lot of games. If they I had them at 11-6. Honestly, 11-6 would almost feel like a disappointment now, because that would be basically 500 the rest of the way. But I like, with this thing with Green Bay falling apart, you know, you keep waiting for it to not be the case. But I mean, maybe this is just going to be a bad year for them. And if they can only get to maybe like 8 or 9 wins, well, then we don't have to do that. We should be able to get enough wins to win the division. It's just a matter of what other teams do, and this is definitely a down year. The NFC is not very good. That's not a mystery. That's not a secret. Um, but I mean, it's all right there. Like, I'm not thinking home field advantage. We've lost to Philadelphia. Philadelphia will probably go on to finish with a better record. But like, I'm locked in on that 2 seed. I want that 2 seed. Give me that 2 seed, because then if you get in that spot, you win your first playoff game, then you get a second playoff game. You still get two home playoff games. Um, that didn't used to be the case. It used to be like, and we've seen it over the years. You get that 2 seed, you win a playoff game, but then you got to go on the road for for an NFC Championship game. There's a lot of steps between now and then, but man, if we could get that 2 seed, and I think we could. I think if they finish like 11 wins, certainly with 12, like, they're gonna get that 2 seed. Um, probably not the 1 seed, but they could get a 2 seed, and they'd be in a really good spot to have multiple home playoff games. We haven't won multiple playoff games in a season since 1987. I had a lot more hair. Actually, I had a lot more, a lot more hair, and I was a lot younger then. But as far as this game, you know, what improvements are we going to see? We don't know. We're going in healthy. Like I believe we only had like one guy on the injury report, and it wasn't even for an injury. We're incredibly healthy. Whatever they've done, and we're gonna have some. We've had a couple little injuries so far this season, and there will be something. It's football. You're inevitably gonna have some injuries, but whether it's conditioning, rest, whatever they've been doing, they're like the Bizarro twins. They're the exact opposite of what the Twins are doing, as far as keeping players healthy. And we're going in about as healthy. I mean, we're going to be going into the last game of October, and we're still going to be really, really healthy. And that's so much of it. But got the Cardinals. Cardinals are not very good. They're kind of a middling NFC team. I think they're 3-4. They won their last game. They played the Thursday night game last week, and they beat the Saints. They got a couple of pick sixes. But they did look, I think, better. They've had some games this year where their offense has just been completely just a big zero. Kyler Murray's he's fallen like that. Like this team, this was the team that was like a year ago. They were what the Eagles are now. They were the I believe the last of the undefeateds. They were like 7-0, and then they had that game on a Thursday night against the Packers where they basically just gave the game away, and they kind of never recovered. And I think they finished what they finished like 4-6 or something like that year, and got blown out in the playoffs. Have a losing record now, so they've got a losing record in the last calendar year. But like, I'm not chalking this up as an easy win at all. Kyler Murray is still very dangerous. They still have a lot of weapons. They didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, I think, for a while. He's back. They're a very dangerous team, and we've struggled to stop worse quarterbacks and worse offenses this year than him, certainly. So my expectations for this game, I think we're going to see more like of a fully formed offense. That's my hope anyway. That the offensive kinks are going to be worked out a little more than the defensive kinks. And I think we're going to need a lot of points, because I think we're going to be giving up points in this game. I don't know that it's going to be exact replica of some of these other games, but I kind of do think it's going to be a bit of a replica of some of these other games. I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game, and no one wants to hear it. People get so mad when we aren't blowing everybody out. Like, most teams aren't blowing everybody out. That's just not the way it is. But I think we've proven pretty adept at handling these close games in the fourth quarter. I think we will again. I think hopefully we have a little more of that offensive consistency throughout the game. We've had an issues with some 3-and-outs. Hopefully that gets fixed somewhat. We haven't had like a huge game other than Jefferson. We haven't had a huge game from really any of the major guys on offense. We haven't had we've had good games from these guys. We haven't had a huge statistical game yet from Kirk, from Thielen, from Dalvin. I think someone's going off this week. I have a feeling that someone's going off. I don't know if that means we're going to have our first big Dalvin Cook game of the year, or we have our first really big Kirk game of the year. I think somebody's going off who hasn't gone off before, so not including Jefferson. I think the offense is going to be probably its best the whole season. Defense, hopefully they're opportunistic. They get a chance to get some turnovers. Kyler Murray will turn the ball over sometimes, so hopefully we can get another 1 or 2 of those. But I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. Sorry, stress for everyone. But I do think we're going to win. I think we're gonna keep this going. I think we're gonna. I've got it on like 31-24, something in that range. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be a tight one. We're gonna have some stress in the fourth quarter because that's just what this team does. I think, I think we will see some improvements on offense in terms of consistency, and I'm hoping like maybe I'm underestimating overall the coaching staff and what they can do with a bye week, but we don't know yet. This is the first time we're finding out what they can do with a bye week. Um, but certainly what I'm expecting versus what I'm hoping are not the same thing. I'm expecting better off, more consistent offense and kind of something similar on defense. But maybe the defense will surprise me and they'll pull another week one level performance out of their hat. But Kyler Murray's tough. He's gonna run all over us probably. If we let him run like we let Justin Fields run a couple weeks ago, it could be a very frustrating day, at least on that side of the ball. But I think being at home will obviously be a huge help. And yeah, I think so. I think we will win. And of course, the Sunday night game is Green Bay going into Buffalo. Now, don't get suckered in. I don't think it's as simple as Green Bay is going to go to Buffalo and get beat by 40 points. I think that'll be a competitive game. I think that will be a competitive game, but I think Green Bay will lose. So we get a shot to gain another game. And of course we got Chicago tied for second place with Green Bay at the moment. I believe Chicago plays in Dallas. That's going to be a tough one for them. We could gain another full game on both these teams. Get all the cushion you can get because we got a tougher schedule coming up here. Following that Washington game in a couple weeks, man, that's going to be the, it helps that we got a lot of these games at home. Like we got Dallas at home, we got New England at home, we got the Jets at home, we got Giants at home. Like all those games are at home, and then can't just count out the road games. Those could be tough. We got Detroit, and obviously at the end of the season we got Green Bay. And who knows what the hell Green Bay is what kind of condition they're gonna be in by was that I guess on January 1st when we play that. That's a long way off still. We're still in October, but hopefully they're not looking ahead. I'm looking ahead because that's what I do. But yeah, take care of business. Get these wins, these home wins against losing teams. Don't want to give you any credit, especially if it's close. But yeah, you got to get them done. I think they will get it done. So I'm going to stop talking. 31-24 Vikings. That is the official prediction.